Configuring the Windows Firewall feels like defusing a bomb, except every button looks identical. But what if you could tighten your security with just a couple of clicks? Well, stick around because the free firewalls I'm about to show you make Windows look outdated. If you saw our last video on manually configuring the Windows Defender firewall, you know it's powerful, but it can feel like navigating a control room designed by someone who hates users. Anyway, if you haven't seen it yet, or you're up for some Windows exploring, you can check it out in the description. Most people just want solid protection without digging through pages of rules, ports, and menus that look like they belong in a 90s hacker movie. So today, we're keeping things simple. I'm showing you the best free firewalls that instantly tighten your security without turning your afternoon into a troubleshooting session. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Safety Detectives. Now, let's make your PC a lot harder to mess with. Choosing a firewall sounds simple until you actually start looking. Suddenly, you're staring at tools that claim to be free but hide half of their features, or advanced options that are pretty much the same Windows settings wrapped in a nice window. And then there's the ones that add so little protection that you might as well skip them altogether. The goal here is to find something that genuinely works well and improves your security without spamming you, confusing you, or breaking your other apps. Something that feels like an upgrade instead of another chore to deal with. And that's exactly what we're gonna walk through next. But before we jump right in, if you like fast, practical cybersecurity tips, hit subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss our next breakdown. All right, let's start with one that keeps things as lightweight as possible. TinyWall isn't a full firewall engine, and that's actually its whole charm. Instead of replacing the Windows firewall, it hardens it and gives you a clean, simple control panel that makes the default firewall behave like it should from the beginning. You're not gonna find any pop-ups trying to get your attention, no allow or block questions popping up mid-game, and no complicated settings to babysit. TinyWall quietly blocks anything suspicious in the background, and you whitelist apps only when you need to. If you look at the app itself, it's basically a tidy set of tabs. There's a general tab with sensible defaults, an application exemption tab where you can quickly allow programs like Chrome or Steam, and a special exemption section with all of the Windows essentials you actually shouldn't touch unless you know what they do. This is perfect for anyone who wants a set it once and forget it firewall boost. It tightens the rules without confusing you with a wall of network jargon. Just keep in mind that it is basic, but that's by design. You're not gonna get Wi-Fi profiles or network awareness or app behavior alerts. Now, if TinyWall is the minimalist upgrade, ZoneAlert is the I want actual knobs and switches option. This one uses its own firewall engine on top of Windows, and it shows. You get real controls, cleaner alerts, and a dashboard that actually tells you what's happening. Right on the main screen, you'll see the big sections: Firewall, Application Center, and Antibot. It feels like a proper security tool instead of just a settings wrapper. And if you dig into the firewall settings, you get something incredibly useful with separate profiles for public and trusted networks. This means your laptop can lock down everything in a cafe, then relax a bit more when you're at home without you touching a single advanced menu. You can even tweak them with simple sliders that go from off to medium to high. And if you want more control, the Zone Rules panel lets you adjust specific networks as well. So for example, your home network might appear as a public network by mistake. Well, with one click, you can just switch it to trusted and allow printer sharing or local devices. The edit rule window even lets you specify IP ranges if you want to get pretty fancy. Now, the downside here is that ZoneAlarm is more complex than something like TinyWall, and the installer may offer you a few extras that you don't need. But again, once you get it set up, it's a genuinely strong free firewall that gives you better Wi-Fi awareness, better app control, and better visibility overall. All right, now let's talk about two options that aren't technically free, but they're important because they offer something the free firewalls simply don't. Norton and Intego are full security suites, which means the firewall is just one part of a bigger defense system. You get antivirus, phishing protection, exploit blocking, network scanners, and a ton of behind-the-scenes monitoring that free tools just can't replicate. Both of them also come with a money-back guarantee, which means you can use them like a risk-free trial. Okay, let's start with Norton. The smart firewall sits at the center of Norton 360's protection layers. And what makes it stand out is how it handles network changes specifically. If you connect to a public Wi-Fi hotspot, Norton instantly switches into a more aggressive protection mode. You'll see a warning on the dashboard saying incoming traffic is restricted, and it gives you the option to switch the network to private only when you know it's safe. Inside of the advanced settings, you can also go as deep as you want. There's a network tab, for example, where all of your networks will show up in a list, each with its own private or public toggle. The program control section shows you every app on your system with a clear allow, block, or custom setting. And if you're a power user, the traffic rules tab lets you tweak protocols, ports, and directions for things like VPN tunnels, remote access tools, and Windows services. But the real strength of Norton is that all of that works seamlessly alongside things like intrusion protection, exploit protection, SafeCam for webcam control, and optional secure VPN. And because of that, the firewall isn't working alone. It's part of a system that tries to stop threats before they even reach your apps. Now for Intego, which is the best option here if you're on a Mac. Intego's NetBarrier firewall is designed specifically for macOS, not adapted from a Windows product. It automatically detects whether you're at home, work, or on a public hotspot, and it adjusts permissions accordingly. NetBarrier also makes it really easy to see which apps are trying to send or receive data and whether they're allowed to do so. The full Intego suite pairs NetBarrier with VirusBarrier, which is one of the strongest Mac-specific antivirus engines that you can get. Add in Washing Machine for cleanup and organization, and you end up with a complete Mac security package rather than just a basic firewall. And if you're already thinking about upgrading your security beyond the basics, these two give you the strongest all-in-one protection. Now, if you like seeing exactly what your apps are doing behind the scenes, GlassWire is the one you'll enjoy the most. It's not just a firewall, it's practically a real-time map of your network activity, and the interface makes it feel almost fun to watch. Almost. Right when you open it, you get these clean graphs that show you which apps are sending data, which servers they're talking to, and even which countries that traffic is going to. If you've ever wondered why your internet suddenly slows down or which background app is quietly eating up bandwidth, GlassWire makes it obvious within seconds. The Firewall tab allows you to block or allow apps with one click, but there is a catch. The free version doesn't give you full standalone firewall controls. Instead, it uses the Windows Firewall underneath and adds a much better interface on top. So you get visibility and simple app blocking, but you don't get the deeper rule customization or network modes that ZoneAlarm or Norton offer. Now, where WireGuard really shines is in their transparency. You can open an app's details and instantly see its connection history, how much data it used, what host it contacted, and even a virus total check to see if anything looks suspicious. And it's all surprisingly educational, and it helps you understand what's normal on your network and what's not. So if you want to monitor your traffic visually or catch apps that are just behaving oddly, GlassWire is a great free option. Just don't mistake it for a full security suite. It's a visibility tool first and a light firewall second. Okay, so after trying all of these, here's the simple truth. Free firewalls can absolutely tighten your security, but they do each have a ceiling. TinyWall gives you a smarter version of the Windows Firewall without the noise. ZoneAlarm gives you better control and stronger protection for public Wi-Fi. GlassWire gives you visibility that Windows never bothered to show you, but none of them can really replace a full security stack. They aren't going to stop phishing attempts, they don't block malicious downloads, and they don't catch exploit attempts or ransomware. They're great upgrades, but they're not a complete defense solution. And that's exactly why suites like Norton and Intego exist. Their firewalls sit inside a much larger system that looks at your device, your apps, your network, and your browser all at once. So if you want a simple boost, the free tools are perfect. But when you want real layered protection, a premium suite is still the smarter path. But at the end of the day, the right firewall comes down to how much control you want and how much work you're willing to do yourself. What matters is that you have something in place that actually watches your traffic and protects you on the networks that you use every single day. And now, hopefully you know which options do that reliably. As always, you'll find links to everything we covered down in the description, including the risk-free trials for Norton and Intego if you want to test the full suites yourself. And if you're looking to level up your skills, you can also check out our step-by-step guide on mastering the Windows Firewall. It's linked right here. But as always, thank you so much for watching Safety Detectives, and we'll see you in the next video.